This is a further commentary on our reading of the Bible through the year. I only offer these once in a while, but it seems to come up in my mind again and again. We've been reading through 1st Kings and 2nd Chronicles, having read previously 1st and 2nd Timothy and 1st Chronicles. And you can see very close parallels between Kings and 2nd Chronicles and 1st and 2nd Timothy and 1st Chronicles. Why are these parallels written? Well, 1st, 2nd Timothy, 1st, 2nd Kings, 1st, 2nd Chronicles, in our Bibles, which have books listed after the Greek version of the Old Testament. Though our translation is from the Hebrew Bible, is the Greek version, we have the order of books. In the Hebrew Bible, these are all considered writings, but are in different order with Chronicles being at the very end. First, 2nd, 1st, 2nd, and 2nd Samuel, 1st, 2nd Kings, are part of what scholars call the Deuteronomistic history. Well, now, why that long word? Well, in the book of Deuteronomy, the last book of the books of the law, there is the promise of God that as long as Israel remains obedient, they will be blessed by God. But when they turn to other gods, then Israel will face punishment and indeed cast out from the land. And so the books of Samuel and the books of Kings reflect all the things that went wrong, that brought Israel and then Judah into captivity. And first go 10 of the 12 tribes, and then finally Judah and Jerusalem with Benjamin by the Babylonians. The first 10 tribes by the Assyrians in 722, and then the Babylonian captivity, 586. 1st and 2nd Chronicles seems to be a summation all the way from Genesis all the way through to the Babylonian captivity, in order to record, I think, who everybody is, so that when they are restored in Ezra and Nehemiah and come back, everybody understands who is of Israel by their descent. If you can trace yourself to the people who are listed in 1st and 2nd Chronicles, then you are part of the covenant. By the way, in Ezra and Nehemiah, after they come back, they put away from themselves all the foreign wives and all the foreign children. And the intent is to follow God's commands as they should have done in the times of 1st and 2nd Samuel and 1st and 2nd Kings. So all these books are of importance. All of them give some of the same story. Interestingly, the stories are told twice, but with different details for different reasons. Chronicles never goes into, for example, into the details of David's sin with Bathsheba, but 2nd Timothy certainly does. And so we'll read about the passing of King Solomon in 2nd Chronicles and never get to the problem of Solomon having all these foreign wives and then worshiping at foreign altars. That's not in 2nd Chronicles, but 1st Kings certainly lists it. So they do list the same history and some of the same principal events, but for very different reasons. And we will find over time God's promises being true throughout. And we will see why Israel, in being restored to the land, is very intent, or certain parties certainly are very intent, in trying to follow the law of God in all its particulars including requiring the priestly law of everyone, because they have good record of the disobedience of Israel and Judah that brought about God's wrath and brought them into captivity, with the promise that they would be restored one day. And so when we get to the time of Jesus, where Jews are in the land, but it's occupied, there is this desire to follow the law in all its particulars and require even of the priestly law to everyone, so that God will forgive their sins and then throw off these Romans and restore Israel to its own kingship again. So over time we see how these particular written histories, while they're written the way they are, and what's in people's minds and how they are and may be fulfilled, showing the works of God fulfilling God's promise. I hope this is of some help. Thank you very much.